And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Friday, November 22nd, 2024 at 10:03 p.m. for another episode of Real Talk. Joined with me tonight is Jeremiah. Jeremiah, thanks for being in studio.
Yes, sir.
And as if the audience didn't know, we are going to be talking about the movie Dumb and Dumber tonight. No, just kidding. We're talking about Transformers, the original movie, and it's going to be a good one. But before we get into the show, please go to all the social media pages. That is the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, The Other People's Show. Much appreciated. So, Jeremiah, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing mighty fine. How you doing?
Doing good. And last week we dove into, what did we do last week? 50-50.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a lot of compliments about that. A lot of people
Yeah.
did enjoy. And we weren't the only people that thought it was a great movie, but we weren't the only people that got a little bit of anxiety when medical things happen. So I like when people tell that they kind of relate to things we say.
Oh, absolutely, man. That's what makes it worth it.
Yeah, so you chose tonight's episode, tonight's movie. And what made you choose? This kind of surprised me. I didn't see this coming from you, but I'm glad you did. But what made you choose this one?
Man, for some reason, dude, I watched this movie when I was probably like, I don't know, the first time I seen it, I couldn't have been no more than 6-7-year-old, I guess.
Okay.
And for some reason, I was into like the metal music and stuff then, and the theme song was what caught me.
Right.
From the beginning of the movie, I was hooked just because of the music, and then everything that followed it just seemed like it was so action-packed for an animated movie, man. Like, just so much going on, and how they were able to pull that off in 1986 with animation, it just kind of blew my mind.
Same. I would totally agree with you. And you mentioned, now, do you follow the... did you follow the cartoon before this, or was this the first thing you'd seen of Transformers?
No, I watched the cartoon.
Okay.
My stepdad, he's got like every box set for the seasons that led up to this, and I watched it when I was a kid. Just kind of didn't get to watch all of it in order, I guess you would say.
Right.
I got to watch just bits and pieces of it. But I knew enough about the show when I watched the movie to be like, oh, man, what is going on here? Like, it seemed crazy at first.
It's like it took the show, but it took the show until like ramped up the show. Everything that was great about the show, they did more of. Mm-hmm. But it also, as we talked about just a moment ago, it scarred quite a few children as well.
Right off the bat, too.
Yes.
I mean, they didn't take no time breaking your heart.
No. So we'll give the plot. If you all don't know, we're talking about Transformers the movie, the 1986 animated movie. And it's a movie that I think that, let's see here. I'm not sure how to. Whoa. Pandemonium in studio tonight. But this is the animated movie, and it's about the Autobots must stop a colossal planet-consuming robot who goes after the Autobot matrix of leadership, basically. Mm-hmm. So you have the Autobots and the Decepticons always battling it out.
Yeah. Always
battling. And we start the movie, I think we start the movie with a really cool scene, which we'll get into in a moment.
One of the best in the movie.
I think so, too. But basically, it's a lot of people said it was one big long toy commercial as well. And as an adult, I can see that looking back. When I was watching it as a kid, I didn't think of that at all, really. Not that I can remember.
I mean, it was basically the end of Gen 1, man. They were basically just eliminating old Transformers to bring in new ones so they could make new toys and stuff, man.
Yep. So we have a cast of quite a few big names for that time. You've got Orson Welles as Unicron, Robert Stack as Ultra Magnus, Leonard Nimoy as Gavatron, and then Judd Nelson as Hot Rod. And this was Orson Welles' last role that he completed, and he died about 5 days after he did his last dialogue for this movie.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he didn't really understand completely what this was. He just thought he was voicing. He was like, I'm voicing a robotic cartoon that's going to destroy other robots.
Is he the guy? He was in 1973.
He did the Citizen Kane.
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah, that's the same guy.
Now this is funny being a movie show. I've not honestly seen many of Orson Welles'.
Well, he didn't get to
movies.
do a whole lot of really big name movies. I guess he.
So let's see some of
He
his.
passed before that.
Let's see. He's got 1939 is what he did.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Well, I don't know. I don't know how to read this exact chart. This is a weird one. But anyway, he was in, he had been around since the 30s. He was in like the Merchant of Venice, Julius Caesar, Macbeth, Abraham Lincoln, several movies that, were like 60s, 70s, and, this was one of his last, so just part of the 80s. So he was quite a bit before our age, but a known person. Citizen Kane, The Hitchhiker, Othello, Touch of Evil, things like that. And I'm sad to say that I've not seen any of those. I know Citizen Kane, a lot of people say it's always at the top of the list for like great movies, but I'm not real big on, I don't want to say old movies, but I prefer movies, honestly. Now, I like some 70s movies, but mainly 80s, 90s, or 2000s, preferably. I mean, there's some good ones now, and there's some good ones in the 70s, and I'm sure 60s. But I'd say 80s, 90s, and 2000s, probably the best 3 decades.
They were just, like, too corny back then, man. They had to do a little too much because they didn't have the, And
it seemed like overacting a lot of the time. So, and I'm not even putting them down, but it just doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
So, but, Orson Welles will go down as being in a really cool Transformers movie.
Oh, yeah.
You got Robert Stack from Unsolved Mysteries. And then you got Leonard Nimoy. Everyone knows him. And then Judd Nelson, who had done part
Breakfast
of the...
Club.
The Breakfast Club. So you had some pretty big names. And then you've got a soundtrack. You were mentioning that a little bit earlier. Was also by the guy that did the soundtrack to, I think, Rocky 3, maybe?
Wow. Okay.
Because I was doing some research about it earlier, and a lot of the songs, there was one song, The Touch, which they offered to this Sylvester Stallone movie called Cobra, but he declined that song for that movie. And then the song is also used again in a movie from the 90s called Boogie Nights. Mark Wahlberg sings that song in the movie, but he doesn't sing it well on purpose, though. But you were mentioning the soundtrack, and the soundtrack right away, I know it's a category, we'll get into it, but right away.
Just hit it right at the beginning of the movie before it even started. That was
and
the first
it makes
thing
you,
heard.
like going back now watching it, hey Dulce, going back watching it now, it takes you back to like very nostalgic times.
Yeah.
Because it has that 80s vibe to it. Like, there's no way, like, nobody from today, if they watched it, never watched it, they would know it's from the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, just
No
from the
way,
music.
dude. Yeah.
And there's a lot of songs throughout the movie, too.
There is. I mean, it pretty much, if there's any fighting scene, that he's probably singing behind it.
Yes, it's true. So, this movie takes place 20 years after the end of the second season. Which happens to be the year 2005. So this movie takes place in 2005, which happens to be almost 20 years from now. 20 years ago from now. 19 years ago. So although a toy was not released until 2003, the action figure of Unicron was designed, but the arms were too flimsy and the voice chips were faulty, so the toy was never released and scrapped.
Oh,
I bet that would have been a very expensive toy, too.
Oh, man, he would have had to have been, 100 times the size of a normal Transformers action figure, just if you wanted to make it realistic. You know?
No, I think they ended up making one like now.
Yeah, they do have one.
Do they have one to buy?
Yeah, they've had one for
10 years at least.
A good while now.
Did you have any Transformers?
Oh yeah,
I did too. Did you have a favorite one?
My favorite one to transform would probably have been, I don't know, man. I would probably have to say to transform that I was actually proud of being able to do would have been Optimus Prime.
Did you have Optimus
Prime? He was actually
Prime?
he was hard to transform, man. Very hard.
See, I didn't have it. I didn't have him.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a picture now of Starscream. I did have that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the ones I had were smaller.
Yeah.
Like I don't think to be honest with you, now looking back, I don't think I had any big ones.
Yeah, they had them ones that were like this tall or so, and then they had some that were like a foot tall or something.
And they had some that were like Constructicons.
Yeah.
Did you have all those?
No.
I had like two of them. I think I don't know how many there were. Awesome. 5 of them, 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, I think they're 2 legs, 2 arms, and body. I believe. Yeah, I think there's 5.
Okay, I had 2 of them.
Yeah,
only 2 of them. But yeah, I can't. I wish we'd have made a list of which ones we had.
Yeah,
but I didn't. I only had maybe, I don't know, 6 or 8 of them. I didn't have a whole lot of them. I don't think.
Well, someone I knew, man, he had a whole entire box full of just old Transformers, and I would just sit there all day and try to transform them, and I rarely could ever get one right, and then I would take it to him and ask him, and he would just
do it like real quickly,
and just boom, every one of them, dude. It's crazy. I don't know how you could even remember that from being a child, because I mean, he was a grown man whenever he was, trying to teach me how to.
So he was an adult and he remembered how to do it.
Yeah.
See, I don't even know the last time I even tried to transform a Transformer. And I always wanted, what was his name? Shockwave?
Oh, Shockwave, yeah.
But I never had it though.
Yeah.
Did you have it?
No.
And it had I had the little cassettes that went in it.
Yeah.
Because I think it came with one cassette.
Those were the easiest ones to transform, them little cassettes.
Yes. Because I'm looking at, right here in this picture, it's got Optimus Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it has Hot Rod, Starscream. Was it Soundwave or Shockwave?
It's Soundwave.
Soundwave, isn't it? And then it's got the little one that has like, I don't know what it is, but it's got like, it can like make the ground crumble going like that.
Oh,
boom,
yeah.
boom, boom. I don't know what it's called. I never had it. And there was actually I forgot about this. One of the cassettes turns into like something that flies, and then the other one turns into like a robotic dog or something.
It's like a panther or something.
Okay.
I think it growls like or maybe a cougar. It's something like that.
That's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Now I never did. There was a kid that I knew when I was younger. He had most of them, and I would always go to his house sometimes and play. But he had like Optimus, and I always wanted Megatron as well.
Oh, yeah.
But that would have been cool to turn into that gun.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be?
I never. But one thing, what happens like when Optimus transforms into his like, fighting robotic stance, what happens to the bed of his truck? Where does it go to? It always just kind of goes away. It just
kind of goes away, man. I mean, that's pretty much that.
And then it comes back when
it doesn't show up anywhere on his transformed
like
state.
It's never used as a weapon or anything.
No, it's not.
No.
But they could have did something with that, like made a shield or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Shield would have been nice. Now, I forgot about this, and I think it's in the movie. This movie. It's the, like a purple one. Is a purple one in this movie? I can't recall.
Is it the,
Is the girl's in this movie, isn't she?
Yeah, that's RC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, she was the only female in the original. Is there any females in the the newer ones?
Yeah. Okay. She shows up, but they don't ever say her name. It's she's got a different name, but you can tell it's her. I mean, she's pink and it looks just like
her.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wrote the itinerary before I rewatched the movie, but around the 26-minute mark in the movie, Unicron makes a roar when he finds out that the Matrix has been passed along to Ultra Magnus.
Yeah.
And that's the same roar that they use in the Incredible Hulk TV series from 1982 as well.
What?
Now, I wish I would have paid attention, and I meant to. That's why I even wrote it, so I would pay attention on there. But I forgot when I rewatched it to pay attention to that particular point.
That's crazy. I never realized that, man.
Me either. So the budget of this movie was $6 million, and it did not make the money back. It ended up costing. They lost $10 million basically, is what they lost.
Crazy.
But it does have obviously Rotten Tomatoes wasn't around back then, but now it has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 62%, audience score of 88%, and
nice.
IMDb of 7.2. So we'll get into a little bit of the plot and the story. You wanna give us a rundown or?
So basically, you've got Hot Rod, RC, Cup, and Daniel. It starts out with Hot Rod and Daniel on a little fishing trip, and then you meet, I believe his name is Cup, if I'm not mistaken. He comes and
I think it is.
Tries to, tell them that they need to run, basically, and Daniel couldn't transform, so Hot Rod gives him this little car or this little suit, and he's trying to learn how to walk in it at first and then transform. And whenever they start getting chased, he finally learns how to transform, and he turns into a car and takes off. He looked like a drunk driver.
That's right.
he still got away anyways.
Yes, he did.
And then you basically, after that, the rest of the movie is them just trying to. Both parties, the Decepticons and Autobots, they're both trying to find I guess you would say, their new leader, and it all leads up to them all having to fight Unicron, but they're fighting each other while they're fighting Unicron inside of Unicron before he ever transforms, and then they're after the Matrix of leadership, which grants them, it gives them pristine powers, basically. It makes them pretty much, I wouldn't say immune or like
indestructible, but almost.
But yeah, so, as close as you can get to it.
Because you start off with this movie, like you said, with the fishing and stuff, but then I think the very opening scene is where it has Unicron devouring planets, right?
Yeah.
And then that's kind of where you get, this is a different enemy. Hey, Amber, this is a different enemy than they're used to facing. Mm-hmm. But like you said, they're battling each other. And pretty much, I think one of the most devastating things, and one reason this movie didn't do as well in the box office, is because it was a darker movie.
It is.
You do have deaths in this movie. Deaths of a beloved character.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but if you've noticed, like whenever Optimus Prime does originally die, he turns gray.
Yeah.
Like his whole body.
He just loses his color.
Yeah. And, that trauma's tie, you said it kind of affected you as a kid. It did me as well.
It did.
I had a night terror about this when I was younger. Mm-hmm. Because also, like a lot of the, what's the thing called what is it, the judge, that the faces switch?
I don't remember his name, the guilty or innocent. And then he says innocent and still throws him into a shark full
and all they do is laugh.
Full of sharks, yeah.
So that was involved in and this was a PG rated movie as well, not a G rated movie.
Yeah.
They say 2 cuss words in the movie.
Yeah.
And some of the versions later on that's edited out, but I think in the Blu-ray is it edited out in the version you have?
No.
Okay.
I've got the original.
Okay.
It ain't edited out.
But that was kind of shocking too for a lot of
I guess it would be.
Because they never did cuss on Saturday morning cartoons.
Especially back then, dude. 1986, you're not going to expect a cuss word in a cartoon.
And a lot of the sequences are kind of, I guess, could be, a little more frightening or scary for little kids. Because, when you're a little kid watching Saturday morning cartoons, how old would you be at the most?
9 or 10.
Yeah, at the most, right?
Yeah.
So you'd be anywhere from like what, 4 or 5,
Yeah,
all the way to
absolutely.
10. So for little kids, and I remember watching this when I was young. Like when I was little, my mom used to be a nurse, and on Saturdays, sometimes when I was younger, she would take me with her, and I would go in this little room, and there would just be a little TV in there, and Transformers was one of the shows that I would watch, and I couldn't have been more than probably 5 or 6 at most.
Oh, man.
Probably 6 at most, but probably 5. So I didn't see this in theaters though.
No, I didn't either. I wish they would show it in theaters again, though, man.
I do too.
Give them a chance to make some of their money back, dude.
Yeah.
'Cause they deserve it. With that Rotten Tomatoes score and audience score and IMDb score, I don't understand why. I know them things weren't around back then or whatever, but
I think it just shows now that
Yeah.
over time people have come to really like it, and
Accept
I think
things,
I think it rubbed them the wrong way, killing Optimus Prime.
yeah.
But they should have known that he's not going to forever be dead.
Yeah.
But
Really good scene from that movie, dude, was whenever, he first died, the Matrix of leadership, it kind of like came out of his chest, and then everyone went to grab it and was fumbling it and everything else, and Hot Rod catches it right before it hits the ground, and
Yep.
he grabs it and he tries to pull it apart, I guess, but he couldn't, and so he just he sticks it in his chest plate.
and that's when he becomes what, Rodimus?
Well,
Or he becomes Rodimus later, doesn't he?
yeah, he becomes Rodimus after he is able to use the Matrix of leadership when they're fighting Unicron.
Near the end.
Yeah.
Near the end.
Yeah, that was kind of what did it. Yeah.
And I wanted
Damn.
I would have liked to have had Hot Rod as a toy too.
Oh yeah. Why not?
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
that.
he was a cool little car. It looked like a Lamborghini. Or
Yeah.
something.
Now I did have Bumblebee, which was
Yeah.
that little tiny one. But there was a red one too, a red toy that looked exactly like Bumblebee in like the toy version, but it was red. And that was one of the easiest ones to transform of all time.
Oh,
It
really?
was so easy to transform. But some of those I would like to try to do it now to see if I could.
It gives me a headache, dude. I bought some of these new ones for my stepson.
Yeah.
He's really into Transformers, dude, and he got Optimus Prime here not long ago, and I got embarrassed, man, because I couldn't transform it.
Really?
And Amber finally, I was like, I don't need instructions, and she finally pulls out the instructions and
Really?
transforms.
Was
them.
it hard to transform out or back into the truck?
Both.
Really?
Both are just as equally as hard, man. It's so weird because, you've got to, just like the old ones, sometimes you've got to, take their little hands and, their hands are balled
Yeah.
up in fists. You've got to push them back in and then click it into, their
Whatever's
wheel well or whatever
Yeah.
in the back of their car so their arms are laying back and not in the way. It's weird, dude.
I'm gonna have to try to see if I can buy. I might just buy one to see if I can transform it.
It comes with instructions, but try to do it without
Okay.
them first and see how hard it is.
Okay.
man.
Now I don't ever remember reading instructions when I was a kid.
They didn't come with
I
it.
didn't think so, did they?
No.
I was like, I don't remember.
It was you better figure it out or
you're
go
not gonna
back and
change
watch
it.
the movie
Yeah.
in slow motion.
I did want those Constructicons. And
Yeah.
did you ever have any of those? What was the dinosaurs called?
Oh, the Dinobots.
Yeah, Dinobots. Grimlock.
Grimlock. Me, Grimlock. I love him. He's probably my favorite character. in the
He's one of
show,
my
dude.
favorites too. I like Grimlock. I didn't have any of those though.
The little Stegosaurus or whatever it is and the pterodactyl, they don't really. Do they even say anything besides their name in the movie?
I don't think so.
I don't think they do either.
I
I'm
don't
pretty
think
sure
so.
that Grimlock's basically the only one that's got enough competence to talk, which barely kind
Barely.
of talks like Tarzan or something. But
Let's see. I'm looking at a list of Transformer characters because the Autobots we've got. I was just wanting one. We've got Bumblebee, Cliffjumper,
oh yeah, Cliffjumper. Forgot about him.
Wheeljack.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Prowl. Prowl is a
Prowl.
1980 Nissan. Okay. Jazz. That's the white Porsche.
Yep.
Sideswipe.
Oh yeah.
He's a Lamborghini.
Yeah, he's
Ratchet.
A nice looking-
He's another Nissan.
yeah, he's the fixer upper.
Ironhide, he's a Nissan. There's a lot of Nissans on here.
Yeah, I guess Nissan was popular.
Yeah. Hot Rod.
Yeah.
He's a futuristic sports car.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we were saying earlier, he's a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or something, man.
Cup, you're right.
Yeah. Cup was awesome.
Ultra Magnus. Yeah. He's a Mack car carrier. Blur.
Blur was awesome.
I forgot about Blur.
Try to say one of his lines. you won't be able to.
No, he's the fastest Autobot on land. Yeah. And as we were talking, I think we mentioned last time, it was he was the Micro Machine guy.
Yeah.
And he did over 100 commercials as the Micro Machine guy. I looked it up the other night. He was also on an episode of Saved by the Bell. He played a teacher on there, and he spoke really fast. And I looked up his resume. He was like 70 years old now.
Dude.
And I can't think of his name, but he was John Machete Jr.
John Machete Jr.
Yep. He appeared in over 100 commercials as the Micro Machines guy.
I wish that was my name, man. That's such a cool name.
That is a cool name. And he was also he was in a FedEx commercial in 1981.
Oh.
Let's see. Decepticons, what we have. There's a lot more Autobots, but I didn't go through all of them. Let's go through the Dinobots. Grimlock, Slag, Sludge, Snarl.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even know if I would have known that one's name was Slag.
No.
Or Sludge, to be honest.
Nope.
Or Snarl.
I didn't know none of their names, I'll be honest.
Grimlock is the only one.
Yeah.
Then the toy looks really cool. I'm looking at a picture of it now. But I never had it. So Decepticons, you got Megatron, Starscream, Soundwave. Oh, there is a Shockwave and a Soundwave.
Yeah, Shockwave I think Shockwave might be the one that hits his hands on the ground.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong about that.
Oh, well, this here says in the Transformers movie, early scripts for the movie say he was killed during Unicron's attack, but the scene did not make the final cut.
Okay.
Interesting.
That was the last time you seen him, was whenever there were a bunch of people coming after Hot Rod and them, and he just starts
That's right.
punching the
You don't
ground.
see him again, do you?
Yeah. I think that was the last time you seen him.
He's never mentioned again. Skywarp.
Yeah.
Which one's he? Okay. Thundercracker.
Thundercracker.
Reflector. And then they also had the Insecticons.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about those.
Yeah. Those are creepy little
Yeah,
dudes.
I forgot about those. So, I thought this was a good plot story. I thought it moved pretty quickly. It went real fast. And like you said, it's mainly action.
That's all it is.
But there is some good story elements that kind of connect it, like the way, Unicron's taking over eating these planets. And then, kind of how, Galvatron comes to be, and Ultra Magnus, how all that comes to be. Now, you were talking about Grimlock is your favorite character. What other characters stood out to you in this?
In this one, probably Hot Rod and RC kind of stood out to me too, because she was kind of like a mother figure to Daniel. Yeah, because
I could see that.
He didn't have a mother, and so another one that stood out to me too, I forgot about, was are they called Junkticons or something? Junkticons.
Let's see if I can find it.
They're on a planet made of dead Transformers, basically.
Yep. Junkians,
yeah.
They're Autobot tribe, race of scrap metal robots who came up from the planet of the same name.
Yeah.
That's cool that you remember that. I'd forgotten about that particular name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a really fun part in the movie. It was kind of like a turnaround in the movie because they started helping the Autobots.
Yeah, and I like the way that they had, it made, the cartoon show, I thought was a fantastic cartoon show. But this also made it not adult, but it made it like when you were a kid, it made it more adult because
it did.
Like in the TV show, you would never have. I mean, there would be battles, but no one would ever die. Mm-hmm. Somebody with Autobots would usually win.
Well,
unless it's a two-parter,
Yeah.
then the Decepticons would win at the part one.
That's always been weird to me. Why is that okay if the bad guy dies but the good guy?
Yeah.
If the good guy dies, it's like, oh,
A tragedy.
Like, come on, man. There's still, well, they're not humans. But
No, but they're in they're as close as humans as you can be in this.
Yeah.
Well, without being human, I guess. What about your favorite scene? Do you have a favorite scene in this?
I would say my favorite scene was probably be whenever they first entered Unicron. They had to jump through his eye.
Yeah.
And after that, his eye starts smoking, and then his mouth starts smoking. I thought they were going to lose, and all of them, Autobots and Decepticons, all of them were just going to be
Doomed.
wiped off.
Yeah.
And after they crash through his eyeball, he starts smoking everywhere, and then just basically, I guess, kind of explodes.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. That's a good scene. One of my favorite scenes is it's right after they're on the ship, and the ship is like the Decepticons are on there right after the battle. Megatron's hurt. Starscream's like, we got to get rid of dead weight. They throw them out.
Oh yeah,
And
throw
then-
him out of the plane.
Yeah.
The ship.
And then
Yeah.
Megatron's floating toward Unicron. And then he's like I thought his voice was really cool there.
Yeah.
He was like, I have a mission for
Yeah.
you to do. Something like that.
It was very deep and like
Yes.
it hurt Megatron's ears. Like,
Yes. It was like
raw
very
ears, whatever.
sinister when I was
Yeah.
listening to it. And at first Megatron's like,
I bow to no one.
yeah, I bow to no one. No one tells me what to do. And then he's like, well, I guess you'll spend the rest of eternity just pretty much
Yeah.
floating through space.
Yep.
And then Megatron finally agrees, and then that whole transformation of Galvatron, I
That
thought that
was
was
awesome.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
I thought the music looked cool, and the visuals, because it had that 80s look to
Yeah.
it.
All the little green squares
Yes,
and stuff. Dude,
yes.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
It was like
so-
it scanned him and
Yes.
it was making him as it went.
And I think Galvatron would have been a cool toy to have, too.
It would have. I wonder if they ever made one though.
You know what? I've
never seen one.
never seen one.
But I guess that might have been, that's who took Optimus Prime's place. So I would hope, they made one. Wouldn't that be the whole point of this movie?
No, it looks like they have made some.
Yeah.
I don't know when the first one was made. I'm assuming they were trying to make it not long after this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, they'd had to.
But I don't remember as a kid seeing. I mean, I bought a few Transformers, but I don't remember ever seeing it. But I also remember seeing that I would have to buy the Transformers that the store had. Mm-hmm. You couldn't just order it like now. Like if they only had Bumblebee and Starscream, that's the only two I could get until they got new ones in. They didn't get new ones in.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get it, or
That's
I didn't
right.
get it. So.
Yeah.
But sometimes I think certain things, it was like this with G.I. Joe's, you could sometimes cut the the box top off, or like the back of cereal, and sometimes send it in, and they would send you like a figure. And I got a Transformer that way, and I got a G.I. Joe that way too.
Oh, cool.
I can't remember which Transformer it was though. For the life of me, I cannot remember.
That's pretty cool, though. I wish they'd do that again,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Get kids away from video games a little bit.
Well, did you say that you did watch G.I. Joe?
The cartoon?
Yeah.
I've watched a little bit of it. I didn't get to watch a whole lot of it. I never really had a whole lot of access to it, I guess.
Okay. Now, I want to play something for you.
Okay.
Now, let's see if this comes up here. Now, Cobra Commander, and I think it's voiced by the same person, but I think Cobra Commander and Starscream is voiced by the same.
It wouldn't surprise
Voice
me.
actor.
Yeah. They
Like-
sound alike.
They really do. And I was listening to it again today. And did you ever watch the G.I. Joe movie? The cartoon movie?
I'm sure I did at some point.
Well, see, they were doing the. I'm pretty sure they were doing the same thing with the G.I. Joe movie because Duke dies in the G.I. Joe movie. Cobra Commander gets turned into a snake in that movie. So they were killing all of the main villains and good guy in that one, trying to bring in new people.
Of course.
As I think Hasbro, I think they do have both of them.
Yeah.
They were doing doing to G.I. Joe and to Transformers. Now I'm trying to. It's being a little bit slow tonight, but I'm trying to bring up a clip that has Cobra Commander and Megatron speaking. But if you know them both, they're pretty much the same, almost the same exact voice.
They really are.
And I do think it is the same voice actor, to be honest with you. Let's see if we...
It makes sense for the company.
Well, we may not get any... We may not get any audio on it.
No thanks to you, Starscream. I've made my contribution. You've also made clear your desire to replace me as leader of the Decepticons. Mistake number one.
Now see this video clip.
Definitely sounds the same.
Now the video clip, he said Starscream, but the video clip is actually of Sabitor talking to Cobra Commander. But it sounded exactly like Starscream. Sorry about the not the best quality there. But, it's the same. And I think that's a great villain voice.
It is. It really is. It's like very serpent kind of.
Yes.
Like that's how I would picture a snake talking if it could.
Me too. Me too. What about the score and the music? We were talking about that a little bit earlier. Did you have was there a standout song that you really liked on there?
Oh, yeah.
We'll try to get this pulled back up again. But it does scream just 80s.
The touch, man. It was kind of like, it almost reminded me of Jump by Van Halen. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of them types of songs that just kind of makes you want to, I guess jump.
Yes. I totally get that. And it's funny that you mentioned earlier that every time that there's fighting, there is music playing in the background.
What was that guy's name that does the music in this? It's like Stan or
Stan
Steve
Bush. Stan Bush. But yeah, even places now. I rewatched a couple fighting scenes a couple different times, and sometimes the song, like if you listen to the lyrics, it doesn't match with all the fighting going on. And the song's upbeat a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's like the touch is kind of if we could get it to go here, it's kind of an upbeat kind of song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The only song I know of in that movie that it didn't have any lyrics in it, was whenever Optimus got killed, dude. It was just like this very melancholy thing. This is a great song.
And a fighting scene is going on while this is playing.
Oh, absolutely. This is when Optimus gets killed.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's just funny to think about.
It is. It really is. This reminds you of Van Halen, man. That's what puts me in the mind.
It does. It does me too. I think it's a good score. I think it's good music. I don't think it'd be the same movie without this music.
No, it wouldn't. You could put in a completely different soundtrack to this movie, and it, like you said, it would not be the same movie. It would be. I think the music really kind of made it. It's kind of what gets you into the movie, and you're like.
Well, you said you saw the new Transformers movie, right? Now, does it have music like this throughout? I mean, I know it's not going to be 80s music, but they don't have like...
They've got music a little bit here and there, but it's not... It don't get you into the
not like
movie
this kind of
like
music.
This does it. No.
I don't know another cartoon movie that has this kind of music, to be honest.
Either. SpongeBob a couple times. They had Pantera once. That was pretty cool. But
I've seen the first SpongeBob movie. I haven't seen... There's two of them, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen the second one.
There's a few movies, but...
I think I saw one where he was like... SpongeBob and Patrick might have been...
surfing on David Hasselhoff, getting back to Bikini Bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a newer one or
nope? That was
the old one?
That was the first SpongeBob movie.
Okay, that's one I've seen.
Yeah.
Now, I was talking with this to my friend the other night. One of the first SpongeBob DVD, the menu screen was just playing one night. I remember it, this was from a long time ago. But, it had that Bikini Bottom theme. But somehow SpongeBob was talking about squeezing out something like a bottle of ketchup. And it was just over and over and over on the menu screen.
And the ketchup bottle said catsup.
Yes. Yeah. It did. Originality, I mean, I don't know how... I mean, it's based on a cartoon about robots. I mean, it's just like the cartoon show.
Yeah.
Just more action.
Exactly.
And death.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it was original back in the 80s.
I would say it probably would be, but, also in the 80s, they had a lot of other, robot stuff going on. That was kind of the thing back
GoBots.
then. Yeah, exactly.
They had this... they was, I mean...
But out of all of them, Transformers was absolutely by far the best. I've watched them all. Yeah, it's... GoBots was... I'm not going to say it was a bad show, but it really was just kind of a rip-off of Transformers.
Knockoff Transformers. I did have a few GoBot toys, though.
Yeah, who did?
But it was because they were cheaper.
Yeah.
I think they cost less.
They still got them. They still make them, too, yeah. They've got them at Walmart, too.
There weren't as many GoBots as there were Transformers, were there?
Nowhere near it. Transformers got, several different planets that have different people on them. GoBots have a few different planets, maybe.
But nothing like the Transformers.
No. And I don't think they tried as hard on the toys with GoBots.
No, I don't think so either. I'm looking at a few of them now.
Like GoBots had, they had toys that weren't even on the show.
Yeah.
It's just kind of that thing.
That's true, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
Now, I just had a... Tonka made GoBots.
Yeah. That would make sense.
Mighty robots, mighty vehicles.
Yep.
That's what the package says. I forgot about that. I think the poster is a cool poster.
Oh yeah, it really is. Somebody spent some time on that.
Yes, and I thought the animation in this movie was done really well.
Absolutely, and it was all drawn back then by hand. That's the craziest part about it.
Yes,
dude.
I mean all that drawn, and there was like. Can you imagine all the stuff that's going on screen drawn by hand?
No, I couldn't. I wouldn't have the patience for that, man. I'd say that's why they had to spend $6 million to make the thing, dude. You've got to have some... you look at the names in it, and they're mainly all, like, Japanese. They're very, very talented with, drawing and animation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They've always been years ahead of us on stuff like that. They're just... That's their thing. They're talented when it comes to that. And I think that's probably where most of the budget came from, was just having to pay so much out just to get these people that could actually make the movie worth watching. Yeah,
because I mean, this movie was about, I'm trying to think how long it was. I think it was maybe an hour and a half. It wasn't very long.
It was like an hour and 26 minutes or something. It was somewhere around there.
So I thought it was a perfect amount of time. But if you've seen this movie or if you're going to watch it, I mean, it is a movie that there's something going on the screen every second.
Oh, yeah.
Like colors, drawings, people flying, laser, gunshots, battles.
Oh, yeah.
It's nonstop. So they were some really talented people that did this. And I think the poster, it represents the movie. But I was studying the poster a little bit today. And is Optimus Prime on the poster?
Yeah, he's right in the middle.
That's what I thought at first. That's what I thought. And then I looked at it again. I was like, his colors look a little bit
Yeah, I think they might have tried to incorporate him and
Ultra Magnus together.
Together in that one. I really do.
That's what I was
because I do agree his color is a little bit off in that cover. It really is.
Because at first, I've always thought it was Optimus Prime, and then I was like, well, it is Optimus Prime. But when I looked at it, like I zoomed in, I posted something yesterday, or was it yesterday, the poster, and then I just happened to look at it real close, and I was like, that's not exactly Optimus Prime's colors. And there's other Transformers in the poster that are new
Yeah.
Like Galvatron's in it.
Yep.
And then you've got a Hot Rod, and then I can't tell who this one is. But you've got a couple, and I don't even know who this one is at all. It's like he's teal.
Yeah, I don't know who that. I guess that about has to be Cup, man. He's the only one I know in that movie that's green.
It's got to be, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know the only thing I like how they did like Unicorn's crowns, his horns coming down.
Yeah,
I feel like they should have put him in the background, like them standing on top of maybe like Junkion and Unicron standing behind him, because
so you can get the full effect of what Unicron. Because right here you really can't tell what Unicron is.
No, you can't. You don't know what that is. I mean, that could be an eclipse for all you know.
Yeah. One thing that got me is that when they're getting ready to, when Starscream throws up Megatron, like I mentioned earlier, and they start to get kind of fight with one another.
Yep.
The one that the Constructicons start to form inside the ship.
Yep.
So how big is that ship for the Constructicons to be able to construct inside of it?
I know.
And then that thing hits the ground
and knocks them all to pieces. Yeah.
But how big's the ship?
Oh, it's.
But yet Megatron.
It's like the Death Star, dude.
It's turned into a handgun.
Yeah.
Well, how big's Megatron supposed to be? A big robot, but turns into a handgun?
I know. Ain't that just like a slap in the face?
Yes!
It really is to him, man.
I mean, I'm sure, I think it's like a really powerful, but how many times in the movie, or not the movie, but the show, was the gun even used? Starscream uses the gun, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's about the only person that does. Usually when he transforms into that gun, he goes straight onto Starscream.
That's what I thought.
And Starscream uses him.
That's what I thought too.
Or maybe he's using himself and Starscream just points him. I don't know how that works. I'm not a Transformer.
No. But I do wish that I had. I think that gun would have been a cool one to transform.
I think it would have too. I think it would have been really hard to do, though.
I do too.
Even just a harder toy to make.
I might not once I got it transformed. I might not have transformed it again.
I wouldn't have. Ain't no way.
Like a friend comes over and it starts on transforming. Hey, whoa! Don't touch that.
Not that one.
It took me 3 hours. It's like a Rubik's Cube, but with a Megatron. So, would you recommend this movie? Yes or no?
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you're worried about your kids watching this movie, don't worry about it. Go watch it on YouTube. They're not going to allow any cussing on there.
Right.
There's 100 different clips of this movie just on regular YouTube. It's very easy to find.
Yeah.
If you want a movie to watch with your kids, take up an hour and a half of their time. Yeah. I'd absolutely recommend it.
I would too. And if nothing else, just go listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to have a CD of just that, man.
Now, they did put, Stan Bush did put out a video, and the video has clips of the movie as in the corner, Stan Bush is playing guitar as like Unicron's behind him and all the fighting that's going on.
That's awesome. So he plays the guitar too?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend it too. Just like Jeremiah said, you can find, it's for free, all kinds of videos. They do have a Blu-ray out. I've not watched it. You said you had the Blu-ray though?
I don't know if I have the Blu-ray. I've got the new DVD, like the it's in the new case. Okay. I guess it's
so it's like the remastered one. So but I think it looks. I mean, I really honestly watched it on my phone. Now it would have been a cool movie to like cut the lights down, have the surround sound, and have it on a big screen if you have that kind of setup. But you're not going to really miss out too much if you just watch it on your phone as well. I think you can enjoy it.
Yeah,
just the same.
You can.
So we're having a little bit of problems with the YouTube, or I would have some music playing behind us right now. But yeah, I'm glad you chose this, Jeremiah. This was a really fun movie to dive back into.
It was.
And it was nostalgia. The animation was good. I thought all the voice actors did really well. And it's the only movie that you and I have seen of Orson Welles.
Oh yeah,
so,
I know.
So
that's something.
At least we've seen one.
Yeah.
So I've got. Do you have any idea of what you want to dive into next week? I've got a movie, an idea of a movie.
What's that?
It's a movie called Bruiser.
Bruiser.
And the quick synopsis on Bruiser. I came to find out, honestly, about Bruiser just about a week and a half ago. It's a movie from the year 2000 by the director George A. Romano, who usually makes the zombie movies. But this isn't a zombie movie. I'm trying to get the synopsis up because there's another Bruiser that came out like 2022. It's not that one. So the synopsis of Bruiser, which we don't have to do this one, but this is just one I thought would be cool. After years of being tread upon and cheated on, a man awakens to find his face has been replaced by a blank white mask.
Oh, cool.
So that one is it's on right now, Plex and Tubi.
Hey, that sounds pretty cool.
So you want to try to go into Bruiser next week?
That'd be cool by me, buddy.
Okay, that'll be one we've never seen, and we'll let David know as well.
You said it was on Tubi?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it's on Tubi and Plex, when both those are free. I know Tubi's free. Tubi has a lot of good movies.
They do. They do. I've watched a lot on there the last little bit, man.
I think they've got 200,000. Well, you said you watch, Baby Genius is on there?
Oh,
or that was David, was it?
Yeah.
Or was that you?
No, David
Oh,
said
that was
it.
David,
Yeah,
okay.
it was on there, dude. I haven't. That's supposed to be a really good movie, man, but I haven't got to watch it. I've seen previews and stuff from it. You just little clips, and it does look like it's a really fun,
It looks like
cute movie.
It looks funny.
Yeah.
We were looking up the Baby Geniuses, and there's like 3 Baby Genius movies, and then there's like 4 like Baby Genius specials or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, who knew the Baby Genius lasted so long? Like, I remember when it came out, I never did. I mean, at the time, that was not really the kind of movie I would have seen.
Yeah.
But now I can look at it in a different way and probably enjoy it in a fun way. So we'll do Bruiser next week.
Okay.
We'll get into a new episode of the Other People Show. We'll have a game show next week.
Okay. Heck yeah.
And we'll also do 15 reasons it was 15 reasons being alone is good mentally.
There you go.
It was something,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even talking about like being alone, as in like being single or dating,
Yeah.
but like a lot of people like spending time
Having
alone.
time alone.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that.
I like spending time
Completely agree.
alone.
Oh yeah, me too.
I really do.
Everybody needs it, man. Whether it's just drive time or whatever, man. I agree.
I do have
That'd
that.
be a good thing to dive into.
I do have that. Yes. So we're going to dive into Bruiser next week. We've got a couple games, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Jeremiah, thanks for joining.
Yeah, no problem.
Everybody,
Thanks for having
make
me.
sure you check out Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, or TikTok. Tyler Payne said that TikTok was going to be going away soon.
Probably.
In January or something.
Yeah. I think that's been in the works for a while.
For a while. I
but
thought
yeah.
I remember after he'd mentioned it, I was like, I remember
Yeah.
reading about it. So thanks for joining it, and you all have a good night. See you later. You got to touch.